US President Donald Trump said that he would allow the federal government to shut down if Democrats refuse to back his demand for a wall at the Mexican border and other major changes to immigration laws his administration wants. The Republican president had used the threat of a government shutdown several times since taking office in 2017 in a bid to get his priorities in congressional spending bills, especially funding for a wall along the southern US border. Thousands of protested in the central Moscow against proposed increase to the retirement age, and the crowd chanted slogans critical of President Vladimir Putin, whose approval ratings have been dented by the bill. After the rally ended, two of the organizers, Oleg Stepanov, head of the Navalny office in Moscow, and Sergei Boyko, Libertarian Party of Russia leader, were detained. Jailed former Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was taken to hospital in Islamabad with a possible heart problem. Sharif was brought to Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences and amid tight security. Dozens of supporters holding bouquets chanted love slogans and wished their leader a quick recovery. Sharif and his daughter Mariam were arrested on July 13, minutes after they returned from Britain, seeking to revitalize their flagging PMLN party ahead of a July 25th election. Pakistan's main opposition party called on for a judicial investigation into what it said was rigging at an election this week that it lost. Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz senior party leader Khawaja Asif told reporters in Lahore that he had demanded the creation of a judicial commission to probe incidents that took place during the July 25th vote. Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf of Pakistan Movement for Justice emerged as the largest single party in the election, defeating the PMLN party of jailed former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Former President Robert Mugabe said that the results of Zimbabwe's upcoming election should be accepted no matter who ends up winning, despite earlier throwing his support behind those opposing his former party. ZANU-PF, Mugabe's comments show him turning on one-time allies in the government ahead of the first vote since they ousted him in a de facto coup. Zimbabwe's opposition leader and presidential candidate Nelson Chamisa seemed confident ahead of votes and said that victory is certain. The election will see 75-year-old President Emerson Mnangagwa, longtime Mugabe ally, face 40-year-old Nelson Chamisa, a lawyer and pastor who is vying to become Zimbabwe's youngest head of state. The head of the European Union's electoral monitor said that the polls in Mali's presidential election opened mostly on time and amongst relative calm. On the eve of the election, the European Union Observer Mission urged the government to publish a list of places that will be unavailable to vote so as to quell suspicions by candidates of fictitious polling stations. Security was tight when Malians began voting to decide whether or not to give President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta a second term. The country has been witness to widespread ethnic and jihadist violence that has dramatically worsened since last few years. In fact, voting was briefly suspended in a village in northern region of Kudal after militants fired about 10 mortar bombs. No one was hurt in the attack. The vote count has begun after voting ended on Sunday evening. Vote counting got underway in Cambodia in a contentious national election that rights groups said was neither free nor fair due to voter intimidation and the absence of any significant challenger to Prime Minister Hun Sen. The National Election Commission said in a news conference that voter turnout was 80.49% in the previous general elections. In 2013, turnout was 69.61%. A prominent Belgrade lawyer who in the past helped to defend late Serbian strongman Slobodan Milosevic was shot dead in front of his home on Saturday. Dragoslav Ognjanovic was gunned down in front of his apartment building in the Novi Beograd neighborhood, and his 26-year-old son was wounded in the right arm. A Palestinian teenager released by Israel after completing a prison term for kicking and slapping an Israeli soldier said she wanted to become a lawyer in order to continue her struggle against the occupation of the West Bank. Ahed Tamimi became a hero to Palestinians after the incident last December outside her home in Nabi Saleh. Israelis regarded the incident, which Tamimi's mother relayed live on Facebook, as a staged provocation. Palestinian teenager Ahed Tamimi met Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in the West Bank of Ramallah. The meeting came hours after Tamimi was released from prison by Israel after completing a sentence for kicking and slapping an Israeli soldier. More than 30 illegal migrants pursued by a police boat landed their boat on a Spanish beach and then scattered into the surrounding sand dunes and woodland. Video footage showed the migrants, mostly young men, jumping into the beach as swimsuit-clad tourists looked on. The migrants landed on a beach near Cadiz after crossing the Strait of Gibraltar, the narrow body of water separating Morocco from mainland Europe that has become a key route for migrants. This fashion event in Burkina Faso is a platform to celebrate one of the country's oldest traditional fabrics, the Coco Dunda. The audience comprised hundreds of local residents and some officials who gathered to watch models strut down a street that transformed into a catwalk. The event was an opportunity for designer Sebastian Bezemo, who has been pioneering a revival of Coco Dunda. Russian President Vladimir Putin reviewed a parade of military vessels in St. Petersburg as the country celebrated Navy Day on Sunday. Putin congratulated Navy officers and sailors on board military vessels and submarines before a parade was staged on the Neva River, followed by a short air show. A Russian fast-landing craft collided with a bridge pillar during the Navy Day parade in St. Petersburg yesterday. Naval Marines on the craft teetered for a few moments, but ship was able to continue its way and participated in the rest of the parade. The Russian Ministry of Defense said there were no significant incidents during the parade. Ballet dancers livened up heavy traffic in Mexico City by twirling and leaping among vehicles stopped at red lights. A theatre company, Ardentia, has introduced a program aimed at bringing classical ballet to streets in 58-second spurts to correspond with the length of a Mexico City traffic light. Street performances began 2 weeks ago and are delighting the drivers and pedestrians who pause to watch. The world's only surviving panda triplets celebrated their 4th birthday in South China's Guangzhou city. Triplets from 100 families across China came to their birthday party and sang birthday songs to the trio of one elder sister and 2 younger brothers. Staff at the Guangzhou Chimlong Safari Park prepared a special birthday cake made of the triplets' favorite fresh bamboo shoots and leaves, carrots and apples for the adorable pandas. China sent its 33rd and 34th BeiDou navigation satellites into orbit from southwest China's Xianjiang Satellite Launch Center. The 2 satellites of the BeiDou 3 system were carried by China's Long March 3B rocket, which blasted off from the center. The satellites will undergo integrated testing and assessment once they enter their working orbits after 3 hours of travel. Divers jumped off the restored Ottoman-era old bridge in Bosnian city of Mostar in a traditional competition which has been regularly held for decades. The competition drew thousands of spectators to watch divers brave the 27-meter jump into the Neretva River, which flows through the city. The bridge, which had originally been built in the 16th century and became a well-known symbol of the city, was destroyed during the 1991-1995 Bosnian War and was later reconstructed in 2004. Hundreds of Lebanese music fans had a whale of a time during a captivating performance led by renowned singer Majida Al-Rumi, played tribute to 5 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the country. The concert, held at the ancient Cedars of Lebanon, comes as part of the Cedar International Festival, one of a number of music festivals hosted by the country each summer. Washington DC area concert goers were distracted from Beyonce and Jay-Z performing when they realized former US President and First Lady Barack and Michelle Obama were dancing behind them in a private box on Saturday night. Michelle and Barack can be seen jamming to the concert while people below excitedly try to film and catch a glimpse of them. Local residents of the summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir, Srinagar, joined hands to undertake a voluntary cleaning campaign of the famous Dal Lake. The volunteers rode on the boats, clearing the trash with nets, mostly plastic bottles, wrappers and weeds, under the cleanliness drive being called Save Dal campaign. Every year, tourists from different parts of India and the world visit the lake to enjoy rides in the famous houseboats to unwind. Kashmir is considered one of the most popular tourist destinations in India. At least 17 people were injured when a tin shed with a crowd of people standing on it collapsed during a tractor race competition in northern Indian state of Rajasthan. Hundreds of people had climbed onto the shed to watch the race when the shed reportedly collapsed due to the weight of the crowd. The injured were immediately brought to the district hospital and provided treatment. No fatalities have been reported. Pained by the loss of a young son in a road accident and the apathy of the administration towards filling up the potholes in the city, an elderly man in India's western Mumbai took it upon himself to do local civic body's work and embarked on a mission to make India pothole-free. Dada Rao Bilhore, moved by his son's death, decided to fill as many potholes as possible and make the city free from all potholes so that no one else suffers what his son had to go through. 3 rescued female leopard cubs have been provided shelter and are being taken care of by the authorities at the Bengal Safari Park in India's eastern Siliguri city. The cubs, 2 of them aged 2.5 months and the other aged 1.5 months, were rescued from Sukna and Baikunthapur Forest Division. The cubs are under special observation and are being provided a good diet with meat soup and milk in order to keep them healthy. In an accident where a bus fell into a gorge in Indian state of Maharashtra, which claimed 33 lives, 12 bodies have been recovered so far. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed grief over the incident and tweeted, sending condolences to those who lost their loved ones. Heavy downpour flooded one of North India's city's prominent hospitals, leaving the patients in distress to non-operating machines and swimming fish in the waterlogged intensive care unit. Heavy downpour over the weekend inundated several areas of the city, throwing normal life out of gear and causing inconvenience to the residents. Torrential rains caused mud flows and landslides in the provinces of Yunnan and Sichuan in southwest China on Sunday, disrupting traffic and turning streets into muddy rivers. The sudden downpour hit Shangyang town in Yunnan early Sunday, and which reached 50 millimeters in 3 hours. It triggered a massive flow that submerged a number of vehicles and low-lying houses, prompting the emergency evacuation of about 300 locals. Some 50,000 people in Myanmar were evacuated from their homes after days of heavy monsoon rains left villages inundated and swept away bridges. Precarious conditions after the rainfall gave tough time to the authorities scrambling to deliver aid to the affected regions. An estimated 100,000 people in the region are affected by the floods. Non-stop rains in India's capital, New Delhi, led to a flood-like situation in the low-lying areas because of rise in the water level of the Yamuna River. The situation worsened further, forcing evacuations from low-lying areas in New Delhi. The authorities provided makeshift tents with food and emergency medical services for the evacuated people. Other residents were seen packing their belongings and loading them on bicycle rickshaws to move to higher areas. A powerful 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck the popular tourist island of Lombok in Indonesia, killing 12 people and sending villagers fleeing homes into open fields to avoid collapsing buildings. The quake, which rocked the island early in the morning when many people were still asleep, injured about 40 people. Electricity was cut off in the worst hit area, Sembolan, which is a sparsely populated area of rice paddies. The Car fire has charged 89,194 acres of drought-parched vegetation since erupting last Monday, and weather conditions on Sunday offered no relief for firefighters as temperatures hit more than 100 Fahrenheit with low humidity and gusty winds. President Donald Trump on Saturday declared the fire an emergency, authorizing federal funds for disaster relief. As heat waves continue in Germany, Berliners have found a unique solution to beat the heat. They are taking refuge in an ice bar to battle rising temperatures. At the ice bar, the temperatures is kept down to minus 10 degrees plus 60 tons of ice chiseled into ice sculptures keep the atmosphere well on the chilly side. Steady temperatures of over 30 degrees Celsius over the past week, including temperatures of up to 31 degrees in the capital, have left Germans sweltering in the heat. Singer Beyonce has shared the first picture of her twins, Rumi and Sir Carter, since introducing them in a photo after their birth in June 2017. On her website, she was on a vacation in Europe with her husband Jay-Z and their children. Beyonce and Jay-Z, who got married in 2008, also have a 6-year-old daughter. Les Moonves, CEO of American broadcast television CBS, has been accused by 6 women, including actress Ileana Douglas, for harassing them. 4 of them alleged that they were forcibly touched or kissed during meetings, while 2 accused him of employing physical intimidation and threats to derail their careers. Moonves is facing investigations by CBS board but will remain as CEO. Hollywood actress Carrie Fisher is not done with Star Wars after all. Lucasfilm says unreleased footage of the actress will be used in the next installment of the Star Wars saga to draw her character's story to an end. That footage of Fisher shot for 2015 Star Wars The Force Awakens will be used in the 9th film in the space opera's core trilogy. The Indian women's hockey team has kept its hopes alive in the FIH Hockey World Cup after a come-from-behind draw against higher-ranked USA. A draw and a defeat meant India had to avoid defeat to progress to the crossover stage, and skipper Rani Rampal's goal saw them draw level in the 31st minute. A result will send the Americans home.